RedZoneSports.bet, the British home of American sports.
Hello and welcome back to the SportsHeads. My name's Sam Morgan from Verge Magazine, and today I'm joined by Josh Peacock of Gridiron Magazine and Warren Lambias, our sponsor from RedZoneSports.bet, who today is going to give us his expert opinion.
Expert?
Very loosely. Opinion on a few games today and see where you can spread your money.
I'd like to apologise first of all for last week. It wasn't my fault that AJ Green got ejected from the game for punching a helmet and that Fournette got benched. So when I picked the overs in that game, you know, I was expecting two of the, the high scorer players to play, and also the Cowboys. When I picked the Chiefs, we thought at the time of recording on a Thursday that Zeke Elliott wasn't going to play. I would not have picked the Chiefs if Zeke Elliott was going to play. That's my excuse. So I apologise there. So yeah, going in, so we'll do the first game.
First game, yep. Cincinnati Bengals at Tennessee Titans.
And I like the Bengals. The line is 5, and I like the Bengals plus 5 points because I'm not convinced. The Titans appear to be still in the race for the division, but I'm not buying it. I don't think Murray's doing any great shape. I've got him on my fantasy football team, so I can say that with some confidence. Mariota's still, he was injured earlier on with his hamstring. Signs of improvement. They're all saying he's playing great on the practice field, but they always say that. No one ever says, yeah, our quarterback's absolutely terrible, he's banged up. And I think the Titans, I think the Bengals, I mean, with 5 points, I think that's a bet worth taking. I think since Bill Lazor's come in and become the offensive coordinator, you're starting to see some better distribution from Andy Dalton. They're not making it so difficult for him. I think the way they've got Tyler Croft into the game is good, and the fact that AJ Green didn't get suspended, despite what these guys told me before the game, before the recording, I think that gives them every chance to win the game, to be quite honest with you. And so if you're going to give me 5 points and the Bengals, so the Bengals, haven't got to be beaten. You can still win the bet with the Bengals getting beaten by 4 points. I'm going to take the Bengals plus 5.
Yeah, I can't knock that decision. I think, like you say, with AJ Green not being banned, giving them a 5 point head start, I'd choose the Bengals.
Yeah,
I'd agree. I'm going to go with you. I like Mixon, I like AJ Green. Dalton is definitely improving. I'm not going to say much more.
And you said Mixon as well, yeah. Mixon he's really added to the game, and they've needed to lean on him. So I thought it was interesting. AJ Green going out of the game last week. That was going to be a more competitive game than I thought it was. I know they didn't have Fournette, but I still think that AJ Green staying in the game would have made that a closer game.
Providing his hand's okay.
Yeah, after punching a helmet. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
God, yeah. Check out our other show for what we thought on that one. Next game then for us, LA Chargers going up against Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, the Jags have got a phenomenal defence. They, you passing on the Jags is hard, absolutely. But this Chargers team is better than its record suggests. It lost a couple of games early doors with missed field goals. That they should be relevant in that division. They should have another couple of wins. They faltered a little bit at New England towards the end when they were playing there, but who doesn't? I think they're coming off a bye as well, aren't they? So I think this Chargers game, the Chargers team are going to make this a more difficult game for the Jags than people are thinking, because they can score points. And so then, because I think they can score points, and I know the Jags can score points, I think the over 41, I think that's quite a low total. I think I'd have it more about 46, 47 myself. So I'm going to go for over 41 points in the game.
I think it'll be tight. I think the Jags defense for me will hold the Chargers from scoring many points. I think the Jags will win. I think it'll just be how many points they put on the board to make that total accumulate.
So how many touchdowns do you think that the Chargers can get? I'm putting you on the.
You're putting me on as a Jags fan, right?
Yeah. It's difficult.
I'm going to say 1.
1. So that means for me to cover one and a couple of field goals?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of field goals, okay. So then you took the 7, 10, 13 points. Do I think... I don't think you see that. Now you're talking me out of my bet, but I'm going to stick with it.
That's the thing for me. I can't see the Jags scoring, 25, 30, 35 points in return to the Chargers scoring.
Well, they won't
between
need
10
to.
and
If they keep the Chargers down at that, they won't need to. So why would they go away from there?
I would actually take the Jags at -4. I think that they can, with that, even with that 4-point deficit at the start, I think they would actually come out and do that. I think.
They're a great. Well, it's down to 3.5 now. Actually,
Okay.
I just noticed. So I don't know if our graphic was out of time date or not. But Jags -3.5. They look a great team. The only thing is, like we picked up on the other shows, no one knows how they're going to react when they're coming from behind, and they've got to rely on Blake Bortles.
Yeah.
So if the Chargers were to get an early score and suddenly an early couple of scores, and suddenly the Jags can't rely so much on Fournette and the running game, that will be interesting. So
yeah,
that's where the pressure comes from. It's same as, but I thought the same about the Ravens game at Wembley. Everyone spoke about the fact that there would be pressure on the running game. That then puts the pressure on Bortles to throw, which has its own problems, and none of that ever happened.
I think with the Ravens game, though, unfortunately, I'm not making excuses for them because the Jags did play very well, but there was a few injuries there in that Baltimore defence. Noticeably, like Brandon Williams, I think obviously being missing.
Huge loss this season.
And I think a couple of them were still stuck in the toilet on the plane. So
and in a hotel they didn't want to be in, of course.
Yeah, apparently, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's tips for that one. Moving on to the Vikings up against the Redskins this week.
We've already talked. I know that we disagree in the main show when we talk about the games. I like the Vikings to win, the Redskins to win the game. I think they can win this game. I think they've got enough in the secondary. I think pressure's on Case Keenum because Teddy Bridgewater suddenly suited up. I think the Vikings aren't big scorers themselves. I think the teams that have beaten the Redskins are Philly twice, Dallas and Kansas. Well, they're pretty good teams. And the Skins, despite their trouble on the offensive line, they've gone away. They've won at the Rams. They've won at Seattle. Kirk Cousins is ranked 4th for completions in the league. I like the Redskins to win the game, but I think we've got it up here now as 1.5. So you can back the Redskins plus 1.5 points. So even if Minnesota do squeak a win by 1 point, you can still win your bet. So I like that myself.
I like the look of this, the over-under bet there for me. I think it could be a little bit of a tighter affair, to be fair.
So you want to
I'd
go
under?
Yeah, I could see an under 42.
Yeah.
I like if I'm going to go over, I like it to be late 30s or early 40s, and if I like to go under, I like it high. I don't pretend to know enough about what goes into the clever guys like Steve Ballmore creating the line to know what it should be. So I like it to be, that instantly looks too high or instantly looks too low. So.
Okay, Josh, you got any thoughts on it?
I like Warren's optimism. I still can't see the Redskins.
That is a dangerous game to play with his optimism.
I've had one losing week. I'd like to point out. One losing week, and they're down to injuries.
I think we all want a successful Washington side based on history, as in history in the NFL. You want to see a good Redskins side.
Yeah, because Washington, as a town at the moment, they've got bigger problems than quarterback. The guy with the mop of blonde hair calling the shots seems to be.
Let's pull away from that. Let's pull away from
we'll
that.
Leave that one.
We'll get into trouble.
I like your optimism. I think the Vikings will win. I also think personally there won't be so much pressure on Case Keenum because I think the only reason Teddy Bridgewater is getting suited up is because we're getting into November and he probably wants to keep warm.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to argue, you know.
Ouch. Okay, which brings us on to, I think, going to be a tight affair. The Cowboys at the Falcons.
You said it. The reason why I've gone with Dallas is because it's going to be a tight affair. You're getting 2.5 points with Dallas. It started in the week with 3 points you could have got, which is the average, is the spread that they give the home team to the away team. I think Dallas have got just a better team. Dak Prescott's playing well. You saw how Cam Newton, I'm saying the stuff we said in the other show, Cam Newton ran on the Atlanta Falcons last week. Well, they've got Dak Prescott to contend with in the running game. And by the way, they've got to deal with Zeke Elliott. I think
he's playing, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, he is at the moment. Who knows? And I think in terms of for Atlanta, they've been looking better because they've been getting their own running game going.
Yeah.
But Freeman, as he gets out into open territory, into the secondary there, I think he's going to struggle because Dallas will get him stopped. So I like Dallas. It would probably be my favourite bet of the week. Dallas plus 2.5 points.
Yeah, I can't It's one I will agree with you on that one. I can't go against you on that one. But yeah, I think the Panthers will win it by a bigger margin than needed.
Yeah, well, I think look out for Sean Lee. I think Sean Lee's going to have a big game.
Yep.
I really do.
Yep.
And I think he will be mopping up Freeman a bit actually as well. So.
Okay. That was a nice, easy one for everyone to agree with.
Yep.
Lastly, then, Dolphins.
This is the contentious one.
Hilarious one.
I picked the Panthers in the other show to win the game, but you're giving me Miami at plus 9 points, and I think there's signs of life in the Miami offense. I think the Miami defense holds its own, and I think that it will be harder for them to score on the Miami defense, funny enough, than it was to score on Atlanta last week. And I think 9 points is a high line. I always go on about this. If you 9 points. You know, a team doesn't need to win by 9 points. They don't care. You know, what they like to be is one score up. So if they can get to 7 points or 8 points, you know, they will run the clock out and control the game. They don't care about people who have bet the Panthers -9. And I just think Jay Cutler is beginning to. He looked better last week again. And you know, listen, he's always had ability. He's just always also had that sort of gunslinger. Chuck the ball away and what have you. But I think he could. I think he could. If he can link up with Landry quickly and not do the thing he does where he holds the ball down and makes it too obvious where he's trying to pass to, then I think they've got a chance in this game. It will be closer. I do think the Panthers will win it, but I don't think they'll win it by 9 points.
Yeah, I think giving Dolphins that sort of 9 point head start for everyone, I think is probably going to be a safe bet, in my opinion, just because of the unpredictability as well with Cam. We haven't seen, it's not been consistent. So, yeah, I think that would be a good bet to
unless you're playing the Browns, this is an any given Sunday league. And, you know, and the Browns gave the Vikings a good first half at Twickenham. So, you know, I think that... That game, it wouldn't surprise me if Miami won it, because as I said, Miami have got 4 wins, and you go, where did that happen? And you know, and the fact that Miami cannot score a single point or something like that against the Falcons in the first half, and then come back and then win the game, it's just, you know, and I'm getting Jay Ajayi out, as we said in the other show, might have just given them a lift and sort of help them get control of the team.
And Josh, do you see it being a high-scoring game or low-scoring?
High-scoring game on the side of the Panthers for me.
Yeah.
I can't see Miami scoring as many points as Warren thinks they're going to. I don't know how many that is, but he sees them scoring points against one of the top-ranked, if not the top-ranked defence in the league. They've lost their biggest scoring option in my book.
You can see the doubt in his mind now.
He's just turning. Even though there was a guy with a bad attitude, and we like the fact that Gazer stamped his foot down and got him out, he is their best scoring option, or I think he is their best scoring option. Again, I love Warren's optimism. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game on the side of Carolina.
Okay. And there you have it. A few tips for this week. Good luck, guys, and yeah, join us next week to find out how close Warren got. We're the SportsHeads. Take care.
American football and my hot cheerleaders. It'll make you feel like a Yank. RedZoneSports.bet, the British home of American sports.